Can I be honest with you guys for a second? One of the things that is a challenge for this channel when it comes to creating content and making videos is to create videos that you guys are going to watch. Now, my experience on this channel, the most watched videos are the ones where I talk about specific camera gear, but I've been honest with you guys from the beginning that I really don't care to be a camera review or an equipment review channel. I don't mind at all talking about the gear that I use. I like sharing that and telling you why I use them. But those videos where I talk about the gear that I use, those are the most viewed videos on this channel. And I guess there's a reason behind that, but sometimes the videos that I make that are just things that I enjoy, the things that I like to share, are the least viewed videos. The videos that are my favorite don't always end up being the most viewed, and it's just the way it is. But today I'm going to do a video that, the topic might be one of those things that attracts more views and hopefully more subscribers. And that is, I want to do a video on the Fuji x100V. You know I love this camera. You know I've talked about it before. But I want to do a quick little video about what I would like to see on the next version of the x100. Now, if you've watched my videos at all, you know that I'm a big fan and I love the Fuji x100. This is the x100V. It is the latest version of the x100 series. But I want to talk today, because it's been out for a couple of years, what I would like to see in the next version. Now, whenever I do a camera review, I like to just give a little quick disclaimer about who I am, because this camera might mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I am a commercial photographer. I do a lot of advertising, stock photography. I photograph a lot of people. Occasionally I'll do a wedding or a portrait shoot. I do a lot of different things, but I do a lot of stuff in the studio. I do stuff on location as well. But the reason I got this particular camera is because as a stock photographer, I wanted a camera that I could take anywhere I go, everywhere I go, that would take high resolution, quality photographs, that I could control all the dials. I could get shallow depth of field if I wanted, but I wanted it to be an easy camera to take anywhere I go to produce stock photography. I want to break down this video in three basic sections. I want to talk about the things I'd like to see on the next version, things I don't want to see on the next version, and then things that I definitely want to keep with this version of the camera. The x100V is a phenomenal camera. I've often thought when I do these videos to say the x100V is the most inspirational camera I've ever owned, or it's the most exciting camera I've ever owned. However, that's not completely true. I've had like a 30-year career, and my first Hasselblad, that was a super cool camera. Very inspirational, very exciting to have that camera. My first view camera, my first 4x5 view camera, that was an exciting camera. And of course, the very first camera I ever owned, which happened to be the Canon a Canon AE1. It was exciting to have that first camera. But in a 30-year career where basically the camera is just the tool to do the job, I would say that the x100V is very inspirational. It's gotten me excited about photography in a way that a camera hasn't done for a long time. Because like I said, as a professional working photographer, the camera is just the tool. It doesn't necessarily excite me. The job excites me. What I'm photographing excites me. The camera doesn't do it for me so much anymore. But the x100V has been a camera that gets me excited to get out and take pictures where maybe on a day I wouldn't have thought to take pictures. I don't know. It is an inspirational camera. So there's a lot of things about the camera I don't want to see changed, and we'll talk about that. So let's start with things that I would like to see change about this camera. First thing is the battery. Now, I don't have a huge problem with the battery life on this camera. Only one time did I ever wear the battery out. I was at a wedding. It was super cold outside, and a lot of the wedding was outdoors. I think the temperature had a part to play in that. And one of the mistakes I made, and it wasn't a huge mistake, but you kind of learn by doing this. I had the LCD screen in the back running, so I was photographing like this, looking at the screen. That takes a lot more battery power to do that. So when I do a large event where I'm going to be relying on the camera for a long period of time, a lot of photographs, I just use the OVF. I don't use the LCD screen. But if there was one way to get the battery to last a little bit longer, that would be great. The other thing, and I don't even know if this is possible, it's not a huge complaint, but as an X-T4 user, it would be super cool if the X-T4 batteries were the same as the x100V batteries or the replacement. That way I've only got one set of batteries, I've only got one charger. That would be a nice thing. Is it possible? I don't know, but that might be a good change to do. Another thing I would definitely like to see changed on this camera, and I know Fuji didn't intend for this to be a video camera, but I do use it for video. And if you look, all of the plugins are on this right side. Okay? So when I go to, and you flip the door open, you plug things in like a microphone, if I'm hand holding it to do video, I've now got the cords coming out where my right hand would be. It would be super nice if all those plugins came on the left side. There wasn't a door over here, and if I'm operating the camera like this, my microphone and anything else I might plug in is plugged in over here. That would be a super nice change. Another thing that would be a nice upgrade to the X100V, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know if it's something that I am greatly desiring, but I hear a lot of people talking about this, and a lot of people complain or have a criticism about the X100V, is that it does not have dual card slots. A lot of people would like to see dual card slots. I think that would be a nice upgrade. If you're an event shooter, a wedding shooter, something like that, to where you're doing a large number of photographs and, very important that you don't lose them, dual card slots would be nice. By and large, that's not something that's a big deal to me. I haven't had any problems. I have shot weddings with this camera. I shot weddings for years with a Canon 5D, which only had one card slot, so I never, and I've never had a problem. So I know problems can happen. I know you can lose things. I know a lot of people are talking about it, and it would be nice to have a second card slot. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but to have it would be nice. Okay, and the last suggestion of an upgrade that I think might be nice is the flip screen. Now, I do like this flip screen. I do use it quite often. It's amazing how often I'm shooting at a low angle so I can look at the screen. It's super nice. But if it had a flip screen that came out, like the X-T4, where I could, be doing video and see myself on the screen, I think I would use that, and I would like that, because I have used this for video. I have used it on this channel, but the scenario that if I'm filming myself, I can't see myself with a flip screen that only does this and doesn't flip around is a little bit of a drawback. So I would like to see a flip screen that comes around. So the things that I don't want to see, and I'm probably going to lose a few of you because I think the things that I don't want to see are things that people do want to see. So let me reiterate, this is just my using the camera, the way I work. What you do with it is probably different than what I do with it. So what I don't want to see may be something you do, and I'm cool with agreeing to disagree. But for me, I don't want to see in-body stabilization. I don't need IBIS in this camera. I don't see a great benefit to it because for the most part, even though I do some video with it, for the type of work that I produce, which by and large is stock photography, some commercial work, some portrait work, I don't need in-body stabilization. Now I do a little bit of video with it, and I suppose that would be nice. For the most part, the video that I'm producing with it is not handheld, so therefore I don't need the stabilization. And if I'm doing video where I need stabilization because I'm hand holding it, I'll use the X-T4, which is what I'm using to film this video. So for me, in-body stabilization in an X100 is going to be more of a battery stealer than it is going to be a benefit for the type of work that I do. The other thing I don't need to see in an upgrade to the X100 is more film simulations. Now I know X100 users love the film simulations. Fuji users in general love the film simulations, and that's great. I shoot everything in RAW, I bring it into the computer, I do all my manipulations in post-production, so in-camera film simulations, not important to me. I know if you disagree with me, more power to you, because I know you guys love the film simulations, and so maybe you'd like to see more of that. I don't personally need to see that. Now for me, there's a few things that Fuji absolutely, in my opinion, needs to keep on any successors of the X100 series, and number one is the leaf shutter. Now if you don't know what a leaf shutter is, or maybe you don't utilize the benefits of a leaf shutter, that's fine, maybe it's not important to you, but for me, as somebody who syncs with flash on a great deal of the photography work that I produce, being able to sync with flash photography at any sync speed without using high-speed sync is a huge deal. So absolutely, without question, the leaf shutter needs to stay. Another feature with the X100V that absolutely, in my opinion, needs to stay is the OVF. EVF is fine, electronically being able to see through the lens, great. It's got its benefits, but I love being able to see through the viewfinder. Even though I've got that white square that I've got to use to compose, not a problem for me. I love that I'm not eating up as much battery with an OVF versus the EVF. And to me, that optical viewfinder, even though you got that rangefinder parallax, I'm totally fine with it. Love it. Don't get rid of it, Fuji. And the last thing in my mind that has to stay with any camera that succeeds the X100V, and that is the old school dials. If you've watched this channel at all, you know this is one of the biggest things I love about this camera. I love being able to change the aperture on the lens, the shutter speed on the top of the camera without having to go through a menu. Can't understand why they would ever change it, because that seems to be one of the selling points of this camera, that retro feel to how you change everything. But just in case Fuji's ever thinking about changing it, please don't. It's what I love about this camera. Now, one of the great things about the X100 series, in my opinion, is that it is a great camera that meets the needs of a lot of different types of photographers. You know, I use it for commercial work and portrait work. I know a lot of people do street stuff with it, and you know, it just meets the needs of a lot of different people. But what we would like to see on the next version may be very, very different. Like I said, these are the things that I would like to see and the things that I would not like to see. It may be completely different for you, but I would love to hear in the comment section what you guys think. If you're an X100 shooter and you have different opinions, let me know what you would think would be a great thing. Maybe it's something I hadn't thought about that, yeah, maybe I would like to see that. If you're not an X100 shooter and you've thought about becoming an X100 shooter, jump in. I can't imagine you will not love this camera. It is an amazing camera at any level. Everybody seems to love the X100s, whatever version they've jumped in. The V is a phenomenal camera. I'm glad I jumped in when I did. Will I get the successor? Yeah, I might, depending. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't heard any rumors that it's coming out soon, but I know the X100V's been out for a couple years, so I'm sure it's in the works. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you would. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you guys in another video soon.